Namaste, namaste, beautiful family of light. Glad to see everybody here at the Cosmic Center Spiritual Light, also on Zoom and on Facebook Live. Baba Sharon over here in Sarasota, Florida, where it's a lot warmer than other places in the country with this blizzard in the Northeast. Sending much love and warm vibes to those of you that are in that blizzard. So, as you know, we do a cosmic insight, and I'm really going to talk about something. And I think it's important because we have to remember who we are as sovereign beings, okay, that we hold the similitude and the image of the divine. And that's really important that we all know that. I think for those audience that are here right now, we know that we're interdimensional beings. We are not this physical body. We go over it many times. Yes, it is an avatar body. It has its own consciousness, and we take good care of it. And it is, as they say, the temple, because it encapsulates the divine spark of which we all hold. Okay, but really, our true origins, and this is what we need to wake up to, is way beyond this. Okay, we come from the highest of aeons, the highest of aeons. And so that is part of what they say, well, in modern terms, piercing through the matrix, okay, coming to understand. I love the Truman Show. I think the Truman Show is so symbolic, okay, so very, very symbolic. And it has a lot of esoteric information, like with Freemasonry and the pillars. And then the light falls from the top, if you remember the Truman Show, from Sirius, right? Sirius, which is a star system. And this is all trying to wake him up. And then finally, I think he meets this young lady. She feels really sorry for him that he's not even aware that he is in an energetic cage. He doesn't know he's on TV. And so you have the architect that's there. He's like the god, or really a demigod, okay, that has orchestrated this little energetic cage, and everything is staged. So for those of you that know the Truman Show, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you that are not familiar with the Truman Show, absolutely 100% make sure you see that show. Same theme, just like the Matrix, right? Same theme, just like Maya of Sanskrit in the Hindu tradition that says you are part of this vine. You're not exactly free. So all of this stuff has been hints, okay, as to what our reality is. And there's a whole concept, and we could go cycles of time and so forth, but we are in a great awakening right now. Okay. And in this great awakening, to figure things out, what's going on, I don't have to tell you that there's a lot of things going on right now. A lot of revelations are coming forward. All that has been hidden is now bubbling up to the surface. Now, I do a deep dive into the Gnostic gospel. They went ahead and they hid that for about 2,000 years. Guess what? That's coming back up. The Cobran Bible, old things we never heard of, like what? The Apocrypha. Esdras 2. What's Esdras 2? I just talked about it 2 Sundays ago. Esdras 2, okay, was in the St. James Bible for 274 years, meaning your great great grandparents that read that Bible, the St. James Bible, okay, saw something different than what we see today. So there's a lot going on. And as you know, I always say, this is the time to investigate, to use your own critical thinking skills, and trusting your intuition. That is so important. We need that right now, let me tell you, because I'm going to share an experience that I just recently had. And I feel to share it to the larger community because it's important. Of course, there's different things going on. And I think everybody here that's sitting here that's attracted to know that we are not the only intelligence in this multiverse. I think we could all agree on that. Amazingly, there's some people that don't know that. I'm always shocked when I hear that. For us here, we know this is nothing new. Is disclosure coming? You better believe it's this, and it's going to be sooner than I thought. I said, well, definitely in about 5 years, we'll know for sure. There'll be something where there'll be, that paradigm shift for many people. that we're not the only ones in this multiverse. They've been preparing for this for a long time. Even the children's little cartoons, everybody can fly and they're coming from different planets. So they've been planting these seeds for a while. It's a coming and it's coming very soon, which is why we're here. Okay, we're here to help and assist those individuals that this may be a complete shock to them. Not shocking to us, but for many people, it'll be very destabilizing. Also, too, bringing that up, we must always have the higher discernment. That's why really using your spiritual muscle, like you actually following through on your intuition. Keep on doing that to where it becomes second nature. If something doesn't seem right, you don't ignore it, you acknowledge it. Okay, and that is how we become more attuned and centered in our own higher divine guidance. Because there's a lot of noise that's out there, a lot of noise that's want to distract you here and there, but we're to be aligned to the higher parts of ourselves, to the higher divine guidance that we have access to, because we are the flame bearers. We hold the flame of the divine. And there's a lot of things out there that would you not to remember that. Okay, we are here about the great cosmic awakening. There is a great awakening. Now, in this, I used to think that it was just this planet that was a fallen planet, and it can't get its act together. And you had the duality, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I just really thought, long, long time ago, it was just this little planet. Then I came to find out, like, no, it's the whole universe. I'm like, what? The whole universe? You mean a fallen universe? Oh my gosh, that's complicated everything. So I had to kind of come into that and understand it. And I'm saying that to say that when we do encounter different beings, and there's a whole bunch of them, you have your extraterrestrial physical beings, but you have the interdimensional beings. I mean, oh my gosh, just a cadre. So just as much diversity that we have on this planet is as much diversity, if not more, in that universe, not to even mention the multiverse. So we won't even go there. Let's just bring it down to here. Um, in our dream state, okay, which is that part of our consciousness when the body is sleeping, we tend to explore. Some of us can remember our dreams. And what about those dreams that seem so real that it seems more real than the waking state? Okay, that's a real thing. So, this is why you want to raise your energy. Okay, why you want to say, I am now ready to go beyond the matrix. I am stepping out of the Truman show. I'm going to go to the larger thing. I'm going to make known the unknown. I sense it. I feel it. I'm going to get beyond my fear. I'm going to go ahead and escape the matrix, escape the Maya. Okay, now does it have its purpose and so forth? I'm sure there's not just one thing, it's many layered things. But I do know this, that we are in the time of a great ascension. We're in the time of a great rising, just like Atlantis. And I want to mention that many of us are here to do this cycle again and have a full ascension for the whole planet. No destruction. You look at the back of this planet, you see the rise and the fall, the rise and the fall, the rise and the fall. But guess what? Right now, we could do the rise and the rise instead of the fall. We have that chance. We really, 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 really do. And we all have to wake up to say, oh, yeah, wait a minute. I think I'm supposed to do this. I think I have a sense of a mission. I think there's something important to me to be done. And that is why it is up to us to make known the unknown in our own personal path. Get beyond the fear, because when you remember who you are, you have no fear, none. Okay, so getting back to a little experience I just had. Okay, I found myself, okay, sleeping in my bed, like really deep, deep sleep. And the next thing you know, I'm on a table. Like, what? And I remember looking at this place saying, where am I? Where am I? Now, this place, and really quick, it was like, if you can imagine, white leather, and it was padded. It was a room. I was not familiar with this room, and I wasn't sure where I was. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Long story short, with this experience I had, were these beings, I couldn't see them, but I could sense and feel them absolutely 100%. And a sense that I know this feeling in the past. It has happened in the past. And right away, I figured out this is not necessarily a good or positive thing at all. But listen to this, okay? Whatever they were trying to do, they were trying to draw energy from my heart center. And I caught them because I was awake. I was awake. And I did not fall into any fear. What happened? I was pissed off. Now, when it was happening, I said, that's why I recommend everybody to know the names of God. That's what I use. And I started with the Our Father. That didn't do anything, that prayer. But I said, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sabaoth. And we do the names of God here at the Cosmic Center. And they're very powerful. They have it in Sanskrit and in Hebrew and other ones. But these are very high energetics that are coming from our throat chakra that aligns up to very, very high energy. Anyway, long story short, I said that, and boom, just like that, I'm back in my bed and I wake up. That was a real event. What happened is usually you're not even aware of that. You don't even know that's happening. And sometimes the next day you feel tired, I should be awake, or things are going. It's because there is a parasitic energetic that's out there. Now, you could do your own research. I don't go down. I've been down the rabbit hole all the way, I think, to the bottom. But, I'm not going to bring all of that up. You could do your own research. There's a thing called loosh. You just go ahead and do that. But this is where knowing who you are comes in. Okay, this is where your light shines. Okay, and when I realized what's happening, I'm sure this has been going on for a long time, probably from childhood, maybe generations. Okay, we had the shamans here from Siberia, and they talked about generational stuff. There's a lot going on. Right. But what happened is that I've been walking on my spiritual path for a while, raising my frequency, making known the unknown, coming into my own power as a sovereign being. Okay, and what I'm connected to. And so I come with great strength and power because I'm aligned, okay, with the image and my flame. I know who I am. I'm a flame bearer, okay, of the Most High God. Okay, that's what I'm aligned with. And people can do it through the Christ, the divine Maitreya. Okay, whichever way that comes in through you, that's what you have. Nothing, okay, can stop you or intimidate you once you know that. So when I came back into, my reality in my bed, I'm like, oh no, you didn't. It's a little good to have I'm from Brooklyn, New York, to have that chutzpah. I said, I don't think so, and I was just like, oh no, 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 no. I know who I am. I'm a sovereign being. You cannot do that. And you could say in whoever, in the name of Jesus, in the name of Trey, in the name of Archangel Michael, whichever, okay, is that you are so clear, crystal, bubbling clear as to who you are. And as it turns out, these darker forces, evil, whatever names you want to put of it, okay, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm afraid of them. No, they are afraid of you. They're afraid of you. That's the biggest thing. The minute you fall into fear, they got you. Once you're clear, these are the guys I hang out with. What you think you're going to do? Really, you could bluff some other people, but you're not bluffing me because I know the truth as to who I am. And so today's time and age is really commanding that we have clarity as to who we are. We are in the world, but we're not of it. That's what Jesus the Christ said, but also Zoroaster, also the Buddha, also a whole lot. It said, no, this is a Truman show. Okay. And the idea now is for you to come into your own path and awakening to go to the higher parts of yourself and trust your own divine intuition and guidance. And let me say this, I was on a panel, a mental health panel actually, on this Saturday. And it was so interesting because we were figuring maybe 50, 60 people would come. There was almost 100 people that showed up for this, and it was in the library. And one of the things that we had discussed in this particular time is saying, look, you got to be your authentic self. That's numero uno. And it doesn't matter if people think you're crazy or what. How come you're not following the herd to jump off the cliff? No, no. And I always tell young people, I said, sweetie, you're not crazy. The world is crazy. That's what's crazy. And that may mean you may go against the grain. A shout out to all the black sheep in the family who are able to see through the program, even when other people can't see it, because you've come here to be a light and to show the way. And it's important that you do that. So, whatever you need to do to make known the unknown, that you come into your path, you walk your light because you are so needed. Everybody has their puzzle piece. And it's important that everybody comes into their higher alignment, that we all come together as the family of light because we are in the ascension process. So, my message is no fear, because when you know the truth, there is nothing to be scared of whatsoever. So, with that, beautiful family of light, I will see you next time on Facebook Live. Every Monday, we do this before we start our Anchoring Light transmission meditation. Know that it's open to the public. Just go on Facebook and you will see the Anchoring Light transmission meditation with Baba Sharon and sign up and you're in. Okay. Namaste to our family in at Facebook Live. See you next time.